Welcome everybody to the LEC post-game lobby. I'm Sjokz and I'm joined by Ender, and we're about to be joined by Zanzarah also for a talk about the jungle, the now, the future of the jungle, because it's not
whether
looking
or not
good.
the curse is real.
I didn't want to bring it up. Listen, it's about Vitality winning. It's not about me cursing Fnatic,
Sjokz,
okay?
you said my hair looked good last week. Do I need to be worried? Am I going bald?
You were before that comment of mine, but regardless.
You're gonna make me cry. This is not a good start. This is not a good start.
I'm kidding. I love your hair. Your hair looks great, and it does look great. Zanzarah is going to join us in just a little bit. But first of that last game, all jokes and all memes aside, I know it's hard, okay? I know it's difficult, but incredible. And I think maybe this is, Fnatic also was very aggressive and in that typical style, like Bwipo didn't have a good game, but you also have to look at Vitality. With now the project with Crownshot is now a couple of weeks in. So is this kind of the fruit of the work that they've been doing together?
Yeah, I mean, it's just game 3 with Crownshot, but this was a good one, right? And it wasn't even like the entire game revolved around Crownshot either, because top lane, very early on, we saw Shigenda blowing Bwipo's flash, and then he gets a solo kill immediately after that play. That was a replay of a game. And then, of course, later on into the fact, you saw everyone in Fnatic trying to pile up on Crownshot, and then some of the outplays in the team fights came to fruition with that. Xayah getting out of it, getting the kills. Oh, it was sweet.
What's it called?
Featherstorm.
I just, quick test to keep us honest, otherwise we just say the letters anyway. Yeah, indeed, and I'm really excited to see what is going to happen if Vitality do get some more time, because this was kind of the cutoff point when, not the cutoff point, but when you look at the middle of the pack teams as we did in Ready Check, if you've been experimenting and if things have been up and down, this is kind of the time to rack up those important wins, and especially a win versus one of the top 3 teams in Fnatic could pay out in dividends later.
Yeah, exactly, right? The theory there being if you're beating Fnatic, a lot of the teams around you in the standings probably aren't beating Fnatic. So that definitely feels good. But I think the real test for me is how are they going to perform against the other teams around them? Because like this is a great win for them. Now they need to continue that, because once we get to the end of the season, you have to start thinking about things like the head-to-head. And with a really tough first half, they have to get these wins against the Excels of the world, against the Mad Lions too.
Yes, we're also looking at kind of the level of the league as a whole. I believe in the first couple of weeks, we were a bit down on it, I think. There were a lot of messy games from all the teams, really. So the hope is that will be improving.
I'm going to be honest, like, because I heard a couple people being like, oh, the games suck, you know, everyone's inting, we became pirates all of a sudden. And I'm like, that just sort of feels like the start of every year, it gets a little bit loose, right? As teams are trying to find their footing, find their own style. So this is something that I think naturally sorts itself out over time, because you take a long off season, you're playing in the preseason. If you guys have played preseason, the games get wild. So you need a little bit of time to get back in the groove.
Apparently, there's a bit of technical issues getting Zanzarah connected rather. So let's pull up the standings first, so we get a bit of.
I think it was patch 11.4, right? Deleted junglers from the game.
So then he's just already being
get him on the call.
I see. So at the top of the table we have G2 and Rogue. They won again. Of course, Fnatic just dropped a game. Then we have the Mad Lions, and still a kind of the similar view to the middle of the pack. And for me, it's very hard. And I want to pick out one team in particular, which is the Mad Lions, because I think a lot of people had a lot of hopes from them after last year, the breakout year. A lot of young players. They had a rookie of the split. They went to Worlds, and in the beginning of the split, I think I thought this roster was also going to do phenomenally, but it took them a little bit of time.
Yeah, and honestly, when I think about it, right, they did make 2 pretty large changes in the top lane and the jungle role, and I always found that, especially Mad Lions' early game, was very heavily defined by Shadow as a player. Like, he was super aggressive, always on the invade, like, had these crazy paths, was very unpredictable, and I think that bringing in Elyoya, I think Elyoya has had a great start to it, but it is not that same style, and there is that sort of learning curve when it comes to like how do you actually play out the early game. So our focus has been drawn to like the bot lane, where now that's the really explosive area of the map that can be a little bit hit or miss. But like I think we heard Kaiser talking about in an interview during Ready Check, like they want to play all out. They want to test some limits, and this team, when they're testing limits, that's when they've been most exciting in the past. So I think they're going to be fine coming into playoffs.
And what do you make of Schalke? They dropped a game again today, SK, the first game of the day, and they seem to be very, very inconsistent. I'm just going to say it, because they do take down the top teams, but they do also lose to all the other teams, or on a good day of a bad day.
Yeah, honestly, SK or Schalke rather is a bit of an enigma for me. Like, I still think they are quite good.
Yeah.
But I'll be honest, like a lot of the talk I heard, like not a lot of teams were excited about Schalke coming into the season. You know, teams were like, they're maybe not performing quite as well in scrims. Like, are they going to actually find their footing? And I was very surprised to see how well they started performing past week 1, I believe, where they came in with a few struggles. But for me, I think that this team thrives when Gilius is finding early action. I think last year in particular, teaming up with support and making plays around the map, he was super effective because one of the interesting things about Gilius as a player was he always rated like as one of the lowest junglers for like jungle proximity and like and actually like pairing up with players and like camping a lane and whatnot. But he had one of the highest, you know, influences over the game. Really tons of kills and assists at 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And it was this sort of style that was like, he was a very effective jungler. Whenever he was ganking, he was getting kills. And that's something that has been a little bit wishy-washy. In their wins, he's all over it. When they're losing, not so much.
Talking about jungle, I think we have the man himself. Zanzarah, were you able to connect? And hello?
You hear me? Hello.
I hear you and we see you.
Hello, hello.
Hi.
Nice.
Well, that did take a while, but really happy that you could join us. I'd like to start by talking about your game, which of course was a pretty difficult one, versus G2. What do you take from games like that, where you're obviously up against a very strong team like G2?
I mean, versus G2, you always trying your best, of course, and you know you can beat them because it's G2. They always can like in the game. So you're not like going with mine. So like in G2, you cannot win the game no matter what, right? So as you can see, they always like misplay some dives, so we get some kills. But I think like overall, they played pretty decent mid game, and it was really hard for us to do something. So yeah, I mean, I think they just like played macro pretty well. We had some openings in team fights when we can just get the crucial lead, but we kind of misplayed some team fights, I would say, when it could be a breaking point for us. So yeah, and I think I mean, of course it's G2, so
yeah,
we're kind of like not really set in terms of like losing to them.
No, I mean, it is hard. And I think when you look at kind of the change you made with MagiFelix coming in and then the 3 games you've played already, I feel like there's been really good performances. Last week, a great start. This, of course, a difficult game for you guys to win, but still very competitive. How do you think the team has bounced back or kind of adjusted to having MagiFelix in the team so far?
But I mean, we just accept the fact that we have Cork on mid lane, and yeah, well, like, okay, guys, we have Cork on mid lane. We just need to wait for the items, and then we can win the fights. Then it's fine, it's fine. This is the main difference, I think, between. But if I can be serious, I think it's like MagiFelix just playing better. I think in terms of like mechanical skills, I think, in the teamfight skirmishes. But with Nuke, it was much easier to play the map, I think, because he was he's taking a bigger part in our communication in mid game and how to play side lanes and stuff. So right now we kind of already like adapted our communication with MagiFelix, but we still some issues, I think, in mid game when we kind of inting lane assignment a little bit.
I have to ask, and the people want to know, what happens when Corky gets banned? Is it a different champion? Is it a dodge? Like, what do you guys do?
Nobody knows. Nobody knows that, guys. Maybe tomorrow, maybe Chocolate can ban it, and we will see new champ. But so far, nobody knows what happened on mid lane.
No, let's talk about Skarner then. You love Skarner, clearly so. Picked him now a couple of times. Even first picked, which was kind of mind-boggling to us. Why do you love the Scorpion so much?
I think I like the Scorpion because people in the LEC are too greedy to pay taxes. They're literally trying to scam. They're like, I'm AD carry. I need 2 item power spike. I need 3 item power spike. No, and you're dead. How many items you have? If you didn't pay taxes, you are dead. This is how it works. And of course, like versus G2, it doesn't work because G2 understand, okay, they have Skarner, we have to pay taxes, right? But if you play versus Excel, versus Misfits, like this kind of team, they're like, nah, I need power spike, I will not buy QSS. And then like, oh, look, flash in. And actually, like some people, because people think and LEC, everyone know how to like time summoners, play the game. No, this is not true. I just buy cooldown boost and they're like, oh, his flash is not 5 minutes, boys. Whoa, he has flash or he doesn't have. We don't know. We should just hug tower. And then it's like passive pressure, mental advantage, and then you can win the game. This is why scanner is broken.
Whoa, whoa. Yes. Yo, I hope Captain Flowers, I mean, he's probably on the show, but maybe he's watching because he's also a Skarner lover.
That's the most genius thing I've ever heard.
Makes so much sense, Zanzarah. Thank you for that explanation. Hopefully we'll see more Skarner, but talk to me a bit about, let's talk about the jungle and kind of how it is right now and how it's going to be on 11.4. There will be a huge nerf to the golden XP on the jungle monsters, which is not nice for junglers. There are a couple of junglers that are getting some slight buffs, like a Lee Sin, for instance. But what do you think is going to happen next week in the LEC, and what's going to happen with 11.4 for you?
I mean, I think right now it's kind of hard to say because these kind of changes, you don't see them like they are not changing meta instantly. I think it's gonna take a while, like 2-3 weeks, I think for sure. But this is like step towards tank supportive jungle gameplay, of course, because is this gold nerf and experience nerf should hit the champions like Nidalee, Lilia, who get just like advantage from just the farming because that fast in jungle. So I think we're gonna probably see more Skarner, maybe like Sejuani, maybe Zac, maybe Ivern. Ivern is happy, of course, this kind of champs. But I think overall you can still play Lilia, all of this kind of champs. So I think next 2-3 weeks we're just gonna see kind of same meta, and it's gonna be like slowly shifting towards champions what people just prefer to play more. For example, for me, I'm like pretty comfortable on tanks, so for me it's pretty good changes because I can play more tanks, and even if they have bad matchup versus Lilia or Nidalee, they will not get that hard ahead in early game. But I think the people for like self-made, they can still pick all of Lilia and be pretty comfortable with that. So I think it's kind of, I mean, for me, I feel like it's right now jungle is in this state when you can just play what you think you're better on, and your team is, if your team playing better with the carries, you can just keep playing carries. If your team feel better with tanks, you can keep playing tanks.
Yeah, I know that from your history that you do prefer kind of the role where you can really play the tanks and be the beefy man for the team. Ender, do you agree that you think it's not going to make that much of a difference immediately?
Well, yeah, and I think it just, you can sort of see it if you look at last year as well, because over the entire course of the summer split, you look at LCK, LPL, LCS, they were playing like Nidalee and Graves the entire time, and here in LEC, we're like, no, Jarvan's really cool, let's stick to that, you know, Lee Sin is sweet. But it wasn't until we really got to playoffs that we started seeing a lot more of those farming champions start to come in. So I definitely think this will be a slow burn, but I agree. I think seeing more of the Skarners, the J4s, those types of picks will become a little bit more prominent, but I don't think these nerfs are so large that you see like the exclusion of all those farming champions.
Yeah, I guess it's more also like what the type of champions will do in the long term to the meta, right? Because, you know, that's in the team fight situation and whatnot. Exactly,
because there is the whole effect. I think we actually got into it during the pause last week of like, if you see more tank junglers, well, then that means you need less tank supports, and you can get more enchanters, and you need 80 carries to kill these stupid tanks now. Yeah. So like, there is this whole shift that can come along, and it's always cycling.
It's always a cycle. We'll see what happens. This is the first time that we, I think, get to talk to Zanzarah. We, of course, have already saw an interview with you, and you're super energetic, and it's really awesome. So I want to pick your brain a little bit. You are the only Russian player in the LEC. There was a time when we had many, but that's not the case anymore. How do you think you've been doing so far in making a name for yourself in the LEC?
I'm always actually thinking like jungle. I mean, you cannot be, if you are like good jungle, your team should be high, right? So, but we're kind of not that high at that moment. So probably I'm doing not the best, by the way. So I think there is like a lot to improve. But as you mentioned before, jungle nerf. So this is our time. Meta tanks, because actually people in LEC, I said it before, they have no clue how to play tanks. Jankos know how to play tanks, everyone else is like, oh, I'm tank, I need to take free damage. That's all. So like me, Jankos, top 2, easy. Like it's gonna be Nunu, Sejuani on the Rift, and it's perfect, guys. So I think if you were like to 8 right now, right? So there is like a lot of way to become a better team. So I think I can do for sure, like as a personal and as a player in the team, much better. And I think right now, like, meta should fit us in a better way, of course. So I think everything in our hand right now.
It just sounds like you're trying to get Grabs to sign you next year, you know? I want to play the tanks.
Yeah, please, I'll do it.
Right. No, I also know you're a bit of an innovator when it comes to jungle picks. I remember your Ornn in the past. I think you played some Nunu as well. Is there an Ornn jungle to come back? Are there some more niche picks you wish people would pick up?
I mean, Ornn is dead. Riot just nerfing. Riot saw my performance on Ornn, and they're like, we don't need to deal with that. We just delete this champ, just buff Lee Sin. We want to see more Lee Sin. I don't want to play Lee Sin. They just delete Ornn. So, like, you cannot play Ornn set, have to go play boring tanks again. But yeah, I mean, I was like, because I was playing for a long time, so for me League of Legends kind of boring, so I'm always looking for the new waves to play the game, I think, and just looking for the new champs to like play in jungle. I'm playing like a lot of random stuff in solo queue, so yeah, I mean, maybe we will see something in the competitive. I don't know, my coach so far don't trust me enough, I think. But so he just put me on Skarner, first pick Skarner, let's go forward.
It's the coach's fault.
Yeah, that's all.
I mean,
yeah.
You say it's the coach's fault, but you just gave like a 3-minute speech about how good Skarner is and how great he is. So I don't really believe.
But I do the same speech for every champion. Okay. But coach just remembers Skarner, and he's like, oh, Zanzarah, you're playing Skarner. Let's go Skarner. Pick Skarner fast. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, okay. I guess we can do that.
Perfectly fine.
It's fine.
Yeah, for people that don't know, because maybe they think you're like, well, you are a new face in the LEC, but you've been playing for a long time. I think you've played in the CIS since 2014, like I would say professionally, right?
I mean,
earlier?
Yeah, it was even before the Riot League started. Yeah. It was StarLadder back then, I think.
Yeah.
So I don't really remember the year when I started. Yeah, I think it was like 2014, 15. Yeah. So I was kind of like playing on the top on the Russian league for a long time, and then it's like from 2018, I think I was starting playing the national league in Europe.
Yeah, and a long road already traveled, and hopefully a lot of wins in your future now that you're with Astralis. So let's move on and take a look at the schedule and see who you're playing tomorrow and get your opinion on that. It is the first game of the day versus XL. What do you think, Zanzarah?
I think there is like one my boy in this lineup, Chocolate, and this Chocolate, I know I'm in his head already, and he know that too. He thinks if he bans Skarner, he can win, but I'm already in his head, so I know what he will ban Skarner. But right now he's watching this post-game lobby and he think, okay, he knows what he's in my head, so we will not ban Skarner. But I know that already, so everything is ready. But I cannot tell more, you know.
Yeah, I understand.
Otherwise it's gonna be.
I understand.
Yeah, but it's gonna be insane battle. Last time when we meet them, it was a bit a nay gameplay, I would say. So, but we improved. A long time, we improved. So it's gonna be better macro for sure.
What do you mean with NA gameplay? Just, you know.
We were dancing, on minute 15 we were dancing as 5 on mid lane and nobody knows what to do, but they had better comp, so like, yeah, I mean, fair enough to win the game, I guess.
Understandable. Have a nice day. You can have the win. You had the better comp. All right, fantastic. We'll let you go quickly, but I'd love to take a selfie with you, Zanzarah, if it's all right with you.
Yeah, of course. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
My favorite part.
All my things are falling off.
Astralis, let's go.
I think the team would probably be really happy if you do that. All right. Boom. Gotta get... Oh, great.
Nice.
Oh, wait, we can't see... You have to move because the
Where do I need to move to? Over here?
You can't see the Astralis.
Oh, gosh.
No.
Yeah, like...
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, perfect.
Amazing.
It was a difficult one. Thank you so much for talking to us, Zanzarah. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
All right, well, that was all from us here tonight. LCS is starting in 1 hour. CLG, Cloud9, Broxa making his debut for CLG. We'll be back tomorrow for more Liga Legando. See you then.
Good luck, Broxa!
Elio right back into his own territory. Neon now diving under the tower, but a max range spear still limit going to go down. Tate's still alive. They're just killing people left and right. Abadage has to run for the hills, but broke the blade on the backside. Moving in with the stride breaker. Now the QSS have to take the Gen X. Prowlers claw through into the stun. The shutdown. SK showing up.
My motivation is just to be someone, to be remembered, and not be just another mediocre guy.
Yo-Yo waiting, looking for an opportunity. Here he goes. Blade's reach comes out. Dan now going to be in trouble. Humble trespass comes through. The 1v1 happens off to the side. Carsey now isolated. They're just going to start mowing down these kills. There's nothing left for Patrick. He pulls out with the rend. Are you kidding me? Kane triple at 16 minutes. 7-1-1 for El Yo-Yo. Magic Field's on the flank, but the minions are pushing into the base. G2, they're going to need a TP if they want to come out on top of this one, but Reckless, now Legendary. That shot's coming through. Jessica's off to the backside. Mickey buying as much space as he can. The Infernal Soul not going to be enough, but still, Astralis are not coming out on top. The front line from G2 is just playing this too well. Still, Reckless untouched. Who gets the Infernal? It's G2! The minions are in the base. G2 have gotten the Infernal, and whatever hope was left for Astralis has certainly died now.
Inspire chase down towards the bottom side. BTO comes to join the party. Cobby looking for the Infernal. Trigger Shockwave lands on 2. Han Summer takes a kill. And here goes Cobby straight into the wall as Trimby chases him down. Larson takes the kill. Rogue don't need the Baron to close out the game. BTO trying to do what he can, but he can't do much as a triple kill to Han Summer spells the end of Misfits. Whipper looks for a flank position here. Flash in from Niski. Crownshot pops the Feather Storm. Whipper already dead. The sleep comes out as Crownshot pops his stopwatch. Niski underneath the tower just about surviving, but he has been shut down by Shakenda. And Vitality on the offensive. Vitality on the front foot. And the charm comes out and Fnatic fall. Vitality ace Fnatic in the top lane.